For the first time ever, the average cost of a new car in the U.S. topped $50,000. But the good news is the average lifespan of a car is also breaking records.
So what's the new car market looking like for 2026? The trends, the technology that we're going to see?
We're going to see prices elevated to a degree, but also remaining somewhat stable.
Okay, we'll take stable at this point. So stabilization is good. Brian, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Yes, thank you.
Right now, while most car lots in America are so stuffed with unsold inventory that dealers are parking cars in the driving aisles, a small group of vehicles is completely disappearing, not slowing down, not sitting a little longer than usual. Gone. We're talking about the 10 fastest selling cars in America right now, models so in demand that some are cleared off the lot in under 2 weeks, with barely 1 or 2 units left per dealership in the entire country. The Lexus GX, the Toyota Camry, cars that buyers are lined up for before the window sticker is even printed. But here's what nobody is telling you. These cars moving fast is only half the story. Because when a car sells this quickly, dealers know something you don't, and they use it against you the moment you walk through the door. So before you step onto any lot, ask yourself this. If these cars are gone in days, how do you buy one without getting completely taken advantage of? Most people think best selling means the same thing as fastest selling. It does not. And that one mistake costs buyers thousands of dollars every single year. Here is what those two things actually mean, and why the difference matters before you walk onto any lot. When a car is called a bestseller, it means a high number of units were sold. That sounds impressive, but it tells you almost nothing about how much power you have as a buyer. A vehicle can sell 50,000 units in a month and still have dealers sitting on 90 days of inventory. That means the lot is stuffed. The salesperson is nervous, and you, the buyer, have all the leverage in the world to negotiate. Market day supply is the number that actually matters. It answers one simple question. Based on how fast this car is selling right now, how many days until the lot runs completely empty? 18 days, 15 days, 12 days. Those numbers mean something very specific. They mean the dealer is not worried about moving that car. They already know it's gone. The only question is whether it's going to you or the next person who walks in behind you. Picture this. 2 buyers walk onto 2 different lots on the same afternoon. The first one is looking at a Nissan Rogue. 62 days of supply sitting on that lot. The dealer has seen that Rogue for 2 months. The dealer wants it gone. That buyer has leverage. Real leverage. The second buyer walks in looking at a Lexus GX. 722 units available in the entire country. Not the state. The country. The dealer is not negotiating. The dealer does not have to. Another buyer is already on the way. Same afternoon. Completely different realities. This is the market right now. Not one used car market or one new car market. 2 entirely separate games being played at the same time, on the same streets, under the same signs. And the buyers who do not know which game they are playing are the ones who leave money on the table. Every single time. The 10 vehicles on this list are the ones living in that second reality. Low supply, high demand. Days on the lot measured in single digits or barely double. These are the cars that arrive at a dealership and are gone before most buyers even realize they were available. But here is what nobody is saying out loud about these fast-moving models. Knowing they sell fast is not enough. You need to know exactly why they sell fast, because that answer changes everything about how you approach the negotiation. 10th spot on the fastest selling list. The the Toyota Camry, 18 days of supply, 24,000 units available nationwide, and dealers have already moved 61,000 of them in the last 45 days alone. Let that number land. 61,000 Camrys, gone, in 45 days. That is not a car that is doing well. That is a car that is functionally on fire. But the Camry is just the opening act. At number 9, Lexus steps in with the RZ, also an 18-day supply. But here is where it starts getting interesting. Lexus dealers only have 918 of them available for sale across the entire country. Yet they have already sold over 2,300 in the last 45 days. For a luxury electric vehicle pushing into a market that has been brutal for EV sales across every other brand, that number should not be possible. But it is happening. Right now. Number 8. Another Toyota. The Corolla. 17-day supply. 13,750 units for sale nationwide, and dealers have cleared over 35,000 of them in the last 45 days. The Corolla is not a flashy car. It is not a car that anybody writes magazine covers about. It is the car that just keeps selling, month after month, year after year, in numbers that most manufacturers would trade everything to replicate. Then the one anomaly on this entire list shows up at number 7. The BMW M3, 17-day supply, but only 184 units available in the entire country. 184. That is not inventory. That is a waiting list disguised as a showroom. BMW has sold nearly 500 of them in the last 45 days at a price tag pushing past $100,000. This is scarcity, working exactly the way BMW designed it to work. When there is almost nothing available, the buyer stops asking about discounts and starts asking how fast they can sign. The dealer knows it. The buyer finds out too late. Number 6 brings it back to Toyota with the RAV4, 16-day supply. 10,700 units on lots right now, and nearly 31,000 sold in the last 45 days. Here is the pattern that is already impossible to ignore. 4 of the first 5 spots on this list belong to Toyota or Lexus. Not by accident, not by luck, by design. This brand has engineered a stranglehold on this market so complete that the data looks almost unreasonable when you first read it. But here is what nobody is telling you about why Toyota keeps winning, and it goes much deeper than reliability. Number 5 on the fastest selling list, the Toyota Highlander. 15 days of supply, 4,063 units sitting on lots across the country right now. Yet dealers have already moved 12,300 units in the last 45 days, a 3-row family SUV selling at that pace in a market where consumers are stretched to the breaking point. That is not normal. That is a brand doing something that almost no one else in this industry has figured out how to replicate. Number 4 is where it gets surprising. A minivan, not an SUV, not a crossover. A minivan. The Toyota Sienna, 14 days of supply, 5,224 units available for sale right now, and those same dealers have moved 17,279 of them in the last 45 days. The minivan was supposed to be a dying segment. Every analyst said so. Every trend report buried it. And yet, here it sits, inside the top 5 fastest-selling vehicles in the entire country, moving at a pace that luxury brands would be embarrassed to match. Number 3, the Toyota Corolla Cross, also a 14-day supply, 8,593 units for sale, 28,360 sold in 45 days. Another Toyota, another entry-level vehicle absolutely dominating its segment without a single headline to show for it. Number 2. The Toyota Grand Highlander. 13 days of supply, 8,800 units available nationwide. 30,000 sold in 45 days, 2 weeks. That is how long it takes for this vehicle to cycle completely off the lot and back out into the world. And then there is number 1, the Lexus GX. 12 days of supply, 722 units available in the entire United States of America. Not 722 per state, not per region, total, nationwide. And in the last 45 days, dealers have sold 2,723 of them. Do that math. There are fewer available units right now than have already been sold in the past month and a half. The lot is not just running low. The lot essentially does not exist. 8 of the top 10 fastest selling vehicles in America right now carry either a Toyota or a Lexus badge. Not 6, not 7, 8. The Lexus GX at number 1 has so little inventory that if you walked into a dealership today asking to see one, there is a real chance the answer is simply no. Not this week, not in this color, not at this price. But here is what that dominance is actually built on, and why it matters before you ever set foot inside a Toyota dealership. This list has looked almost identical for months. Pull up last month's data, the month before that, the same names, the same badges, the same stranglehold at the top. This is not a hot streak. This is not a lucky quarter. This is a structural reality that Toyota has spent decades engineering, and every other manufacturer is still trying to figure out how to break it. It starts with supply discipline. Most manufacturers operate on a simple instinct. Demand goes up, build more, flood the channel, move the metal. Toyota does the opposite. They match supply to demand with a precision that makes their inventory numbers look almost surgical. They do not overproduce. They do not dump excess units into rental fleets to inflate sales figures. They protect the pipeline. And because they protect the pipeline, day supply stays low, resale value stays high, and buyers keep coming back because they know a Toyota holds its value in a way that most vehicles simply do not. That resale value reputation is the second engine driving all of this. Here is how the loop works. Buyers trust Toyota because they have seen what happens to Toyota values over time. They buy Toyota. They sell Toyota 2 or 3 years later and recover more of their money than they expected. They tell everyone they know. Those people buy Toyota. The loop tightens. The reputation deepens. And Toyota's position at the top of every fastest selling list in the country gets stronger without the brand spending a single extra dollar to make it happen. The reliability perception does the same work. Right or wrong, Toyota has built a reputation in the American consumer's mind that is nearly impossible to dislodge. These cars run forever. That is the belief. And belief in the car market is worth more than any feature package or financing promotion a competitor can throw at it. Here is what all of this means at the dealership level. When you walk onto a Toyota lot, eyeing one of the vehicles on this fastest selling list, you are not walking into a negotiation. You are walking into a take it or leave it situation, dressed up as a conversation. The salesperson knows the day supply number. They know another buyer is coming. And they know that dropping the price is the last thing they need to do to move that car. But here is what nobody tells you before that conversation starts. And this is where downloading the free ebook, Avoid These 17 Cars, in 2026 becomes critical. Because knowing which Toyotas to avoid is just as valuable as knowing which ones dominate this list. The depreciation data, the reliability flags, the specific models mechanics see on their lifts week after week, The link is in the description. Get it before your next lot visit. But there are Toyota models with real negotiating room, and identifying exactly which ones is the kind of intelligence this market rewards. Zoom out. The fastest selling list tells you where the power sits. The volume list tells you where the opportunity is. These are not the same thing, and confusing them is exactly how buyers walk onto the wrong lot with the wrong expectations and leave with the wrong deal. At number 10 by volume, the Nissan Rogue. 25,846 sold in the last 45 days. That sounds dominant, but dealers are sitting on a 62-day supply. 62 days. While Toyota lots are cycling inventory in under 2 weeks, Nissan lots are staring at the same Rogues for 2 full months. That is not strength. That is pressure. And pressure means negotiating room for the buyer who knows it is there. The Chevrolet Silverado 1500 sits at number 5 by volume, with 33,079 units sold. Impressive on the surface. But dealers have over 41,000 available right now, carrying a 56-day supply at an average price pushing $55,000. That is a very expensive truck that has been sitting on a very full lot for a very long time. The dealer needs that sale far more than they want you to believe. Honda enters the conversation at number 3 with the CR-V. 52,515 sold in 45 days. But a 34-day supply with nearly 40,000 units available nationwide means there is still room to negotiate on one of the most consistently popular vehicles in America. The Toyota Tacoma sits at number 2. 53,219 sold, but 35,000 still on lots with a 30-day supply. A Toyota with actual inventory. That combination is rare enough on this list that it deserves its own flag. Reliability reputation of a Toyota. Enough supply that the dealer cannot simply stare you down and wait for the next buyer. And then the Toyota Camry claims the top spot again. Number 1 by volume. 61,450 sold. Dominating both lists simultaneously. But here is what that split between the two lists is actually revealing about which brands are quietly losing ground and how fast. Ford built its entire identity on one claim: the F-150, the best-selling vehicle in America, year after year, decade after decade. It was not just a truck. It was a brand statement, a market position, a fact that Ford repeated so often it became part of the company's DNA. That fact is no longer true. In April 2026, the F-150 sits at number 16 on the volume list. Not the top 10, not even close. 16, behind the Silverado, behind the Ram 1500, behind vehicles that Ford spent years treating as distant competition. F-Series sales are down 16% year over year. Ford's overall sales numbers have dropped significantly across the board. The Explorer, Ford's flagship SUV, shows up at number 19. The brand that used to own this market is now fighting for relevance inside its own segments. Not a stumble, not a rough month. A structural retreat happening in plain sight. Stellantis tells a similar story. The Ram 1500 is the lone Stellantis product that makes this list at all, sitting at number 15 with 22,294 units sold. One entry, from a company that owns Jeep, Dodge, Ram, and Chrysler. One vehicle representing an entire portfolio on a list dominated by a single competitor. The honorable mentions reveal the pressure building further down. Subaru Forester at number 11. Hyundai Tucson at number 12. GMC Sierra at 13. Chevrolet Equinox at 14. every single one of them carrying more days' supply than the Toyota entries above them. More inventory, more time on the lot, more desperation quietly building behind the showroom glass. Here is the pattern underneath all of it. As you move down this list, day supply climbs. The vehicles get more negotiable. The dealers get more motivated. And the buyer who walks in knowing that 62-day supply number, that 56-day supply number, that 30-day supply number, holds a kind of leverage that the salesperson is hoping you never thought to look up. But knowing the numbers is only half of what you need before stepping onto any lot. The market right now is not one market. It is two completely different realities sitting side by side on the same street, under the same signs, on the same asphalt. On one side, vehicles that are gone before most buyers even realize they were available. 12 days, 13 days, 15 days. Lots so lean that the salesperson does not flinch when you walk away because they already know who is walking in next. On the other side, vehicles that have been sitting for 50, 60, 70 days. Dealers staring at spreadsheets. Managers approving discounts they would never have touched 2 years ago. Buyers with leverage they have not had since before the pandemic flipped this entire market upside down. The mistake most buyers make is walking into the wrong side with the wrong expectations. If you are targeting a fast-moving Toyota or Lexus from this list, the approach is simple but non-negotiable. Get pre-approved before you arrive. Know the exact trim level you want. Know the VIN if you can find it. Expect little to no discount on the fastest moving models and move quickly because the data is telling you clearly that waiting costs you the car. The Lexus GX has 722 units in the entire country. Hesitation is not a strategy. It is a gift to the next buyer in line. If you are targeting the volume list, the Silverado, the Rogue, the Ram, the Explorer, the leverage is real, and it is sitting right there in the day supply number. A dealer who has been staring at a 56-day supply on a $55,000 truck is not in a strong negotiating position. They just need you to believe they are. The Toyota Tundra sits in the middle. Enough volume, enough inventory at 30 days supply. Toyota reliability without Toyota's tightest stranglehold on negotiating room. One rule applies across all of it. Walk in with data, not emotion. The buyer who knows the day supply number before the salesperson says a single word has already won half the negotiation before it begins. The lot is full on one side, empty on the other. The only question left is which side you are standing on. Come back to that car that arrived on the lot Monday morning and was gone by Wednesday. Not because of a sale, not because of a discount, because 3 different buyers were already waiting for it before the window sticker was printed. That image is not a coincidence. It is the entire story of this market told in a single transaction. The buyers who lost that car did not lose because they were slow. They lost because they walked in unprepared. No pre-approval, no data, no understanding of what the day supply number was telling them before they ever shook a single hand. They walked in with emotion and walked out with nothing. This market is not going to slow down on the winning side. Toyota and Lexus have spent decades building the exact machine that produces these numbers month after month. The Lexus GX at 12 days, the Grand Highlander at 13, the Camry dominating both lists simultaneously. That is not changing next month. It is not changing next quarter. The structural advantages are too deep and too well built to unwind on anyone else's timeline. And on the other side of the street, the pressure on Ford, on Stellantis, on Nissan is not easing either. The day supply numbers climbing higher. the inventory sitting longer, the desperation building quietly behind showroom glass, while the headlines talk about something else entirely. The difference between winning and losing in this environment is not luck. It is not timing. It is information. The buyer who understands which cars have power and which lots are bleeding is the buyer this market is about to reward. If you have not downloaded the free ebook, Avoid These 17 Cars in 2026 yet, do it before your next lot visit. Depreciation data, reliability flags, the exact models mechanics see on their lifts week after week. The link is in the description. The lot is full on one side and empty on the other. You now know exactly which side is which. Make sure you are standing in the right place before you sign anything.